Well, they're going to give us a lot of problems because they got a lot of guys who can score. Defensively, they create a lot of problems. They're all gifted athletes who can score. And so that, we've had trouble at times defensively this year, and they're one of the teams that will cause us probably as much problems as any, just because every guy they have has the potential to have a big game offensively.
You like the way you defended them the first time, and they didn't get a whole lot? I mean, below their average, and Anderson didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, we did a lot of good things. I thought we played really hard that night. I thought both teams did. Both teams shot free throws really well. It was a game that went down the last possession. They made a run in the second half to control the game, and we came back with our press, went small, and got back into the game. So, it'll be a tough game. They're better at home statistically. Their numbers are much better at their place. So we're going to have our hands full. We know that. We're going to have to bring our A game. They're a talented team. We're going to have to play awfully well.
What glimmers you got from Mosier in that game? Do you almost feel like you can go into this thinking maybe you guys can be a little different just because of the role he's on now and how little?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there with Mike that game. He just really had a bad game. He got off to a bad start, had 2 really quick fouls, and just was out of it that night. He has played better of late, but I'm sure as they look, Kyle Anderson had one of his worst games that night. So, that's college basketball. You have good nights, you have nights that aren't so good, and so I don't think you can say, well, one of our guys can play well. That gives us an advantage. I think you just go into the game, and every game's different.
What's Dot's status for Thursday?
Well, he'll make the trip, and then we'll just see what happens. But he'll definitely be with us.
What's it hinging on at this point for you?
How I feel.
This is the first guy you've had to suspend here. Do you have a set crime punishment, or do you take it case by case?
No, every individual's different. Every individual has a history. Every individual, brings a lot, and I give them credit for the things they do well, and when they make a mistake, then we take that into account too. But as I mentioned before, Dot has a lot of credit built up because he's done a lot of good things the last 2 years, and really appreciate everything he's given to the program.
What do you mean by that when you say that? Because you mentioned that the other night, that he sort of had a lot of kind of goodwill built up.
Goes to class. His academic record is good. He's represented our program very well. He does a lot of things off the floor with kids, and he's just been a very good representative of our program. So comes to practice every day. He treats his teammates really well. There's not many negatives there.
How much do you take all that into account?
A lot. It is. I worked with young men for a long time, and I know that at times they make mistakes. So I take into account very, very much so their history, and measure the good against the bad, and just like I do when I give playing time or opportunities for players. Those that put in a lot more time get a lot more opportunities, and those who have done a lot of good, they deserve more of a second chance.
As you've assessed the game, how do you feel like you made up those minutes? Were there certain guys you felt like stepped into those minutes and helped make up for his
Well, Jason's been really consistent all year. He played a few more minutes. I thought Jaleel, gave us a few good minutes. I think Jaleel really got hurt this year. He started off with a high ankle sprain that really set him back. And then Jason and some of the other players, kind of got into a role. Jaleel's handled it really well, very mature. He's practiced really hard since Christmas when he's gotten healthy. He's earned some playing time. I've just had a hard time finding, a spot to stick him in the rotation. But if he's patient, either this year, next year for sure, he's done a lot of good things in practice. I like his athleticism. He shoots the ball well. It's just hard to play 11 guys. We're at 10, and it's hard to play 11.
If you don't have Dotson Thursday, how does that change that game for you guys?
It doesn't. You know, we'll just play. It didn't change our game the other night. It won't change it on Thursday.
How are you balancing sort of big picture versus one game at a time with your guys? Are you mentioning big picture at all?
Well, you know, I think the guys know what the big picture is. You know, I don't think I need to explain it to them. So, you know, they've been pretty good about one game at a time. They know how important the last 4 games are. You know, they're all basketball fans. They follow it. So, but they know UCLA is a big game for us. They know USC. You know, the last 2 weeks are really important. So we got to play well.
Thanks, Coach.